We are back with a little bit of extra H10 because that's what you all want, I hope. This is T Ray, the host of the H10 podcast / vodcast / everything. We just finished recording episode 132, myself and Sanjay. How's it?
How's it, brother T Ray?
Yeah. So we, of course, as always, can't get enough of talking Hanshin Tigers. And as you all know, we have finished the first 84 games of the schedule, which means that we've got 59 left, and we have a slender 2-game lead over the Yomiuri Giants and 2.5 on the Yakult Swallows. How to protect that lead or expand that lead in the second half is the question. Now, as we talked about in the show, Sanjay, we gave the full report card on most of the main guys that have played in this first half. But the question is who to expect more from or hope for more from, or who do we need more from in the second half of the season in order to ensure this team's success? And so I'm kind of playing this game that the Japanese commentators, columnists, or whatever like to play, and that is Kiman wa dare desu ka? Who is the key player that needs to step things up in order to ensure the pennant for this team? And as the Japanese media will say, 16年ぶりの優勝, the first championship pennant in 16 seasons. Who's going to do it? So I'm going to give you first shot at this. When it comes to our hitters, who needs to step up? Who is the key man for this team in the second half?
All right. Well, my guess might be the low-hanging fruit. I want Yusuke Oyama to step up, belly up to the bar, and just order a whole round of slams all over the place.
Well said. I'm going to agree with you on that wholeheartedly. This is a guy, just to recap for those who maybe haven't heard the show yet or just don't know his numbers. Yusuke Oyama is batting .245 on the season so far with 15 doubles, 10 home runs, 43 RBIs, and an OPS of 703 with a batting average with runners in scoring position of just 213. Now let's contrast that with his numbers from last season, in which he had a career season. Of course, he's 26, 27. He's 26 now. So last season, he had 28 home runs and 85 RBI, and that was in 116 games. So it wasn't even a full season. That would put him on pace for 30 plus. He's on pace for under 20 this year. He also hit 295 with runners in scoring position last year, had an OPS of 918, and overall just had a good year, batting .288 as well. So I would completely agree with you on who needs to step up. It's got to be the captain, the number 4 hitter. Now, here's an interesting thing that I would say about him, Sanjay. He hit that clutch 3-run home run, 10 days ago or whatever, against the Swallows to give us the big 6-5 win at Jingu Park. And he was looking great. Where was he batting in the order at that time?
7?
That is correct. He was batting 7th. And how about a couple of years ago? Well, I'll tell you instead of quizzing you, but he was the number 4 hitter for a good amount of time. And then Yano dropped him down to number 6. And at Kyocera Dome against the Carp, who were, by the way, at the time, the 3-time defending champs, the Carp, he hit a walk-off 3-run home run. And I think the next day he hit like an 8th inning 3-run home run or something. I think in both of those, he was batting in the 6th spot. How did he do last year? He did incredibly well. One of the reasons might be, and this again is just conjecture, where did he start the season in 2020? On the bench, bro. He was not even in the starting lineup because Jeffrey Marte was the starting 3rd baseman. And so I think he needs to have a little bit of dirt kicked on him before he actually starts to do his job the way he's expected to. I don't know. It might just be coincidence, but man, that's several examples of this guy performing incredibly well after being put down. Either lift physically down in the batting order or just put down mentally, right? And so maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe he needs to not be the number 4 hitter in our lineup. And maybe that's going to give us a little bit more beef where we put like a Jerry Sands or a Jeffrey Marte in that 4 spot, put Yusuke down in the 6 or 7, and look out, man. If he catches fire, other teams are going to hate facing our lineup, knowing that they've got Sands to take down. And even if they take him down, a couple batters later, they've got red hot, pissed off Yusuke Oyama to deal with.
No arguments from me on that one, man. I thought it was too soon for Yano to bring him back up to the clean spot.
I'm going to call the Yano hotline and give him my idea and see what he thinks.
Yeah, you do that. Tell him I say hi too.
Okay, we'll do, we'll do. For mine, I'm gonna say the key man, and this might be a highly unusual one and unexpected, but Mel Rojas Jr. Um, I think that he is also a key man. And the reason I say that is because so far, of course, he has not even come close to meeting team expectations with just 1 home run and 3 RBI, 5 hits in 51 at bats with 4 walks and 18 strikeouts and an OPS of, it is very lean, 320. Not that we've necessarily needed him. As you can see, we're in first place without his good performance. But if if a Jeffrey Marte goes down with an injury, which has been known to happen, then we may have to shift Jerry Sands over to first base, and that would require us to maybe get that extra beef in the lineup. Mel Rojas Jr. is going to be needed at some point during the season, particularly if Teraki Sato continues to kind of slump. And I don't want to point that out too much, but he has definitely had a bit of a rough month, which with I think just like 1 home run in the past month. Sorry, let me just look this up real quick. His July numbers. He has got, 1 home run in July, 4 RBI in July with an OPS of 614. So I'm not going to pick on Sato, but I am going to say if he continues to slump, and rookies are known to do that, we need somebody else to pick up the slack. So it's got to be Oyama and or Mel Rojas Jr. Okay, let's move over to the pitching side of things. Who have you got? Who needs to perform either better or continue to carry this team on his back in the second half?
Again, I think I'm going to be going for the low-hanging fruit over here, but the man that we need to perform to his abilities that we have seen in the past, Shintaro Fujinami, man. Shin-chan, come on, you can do it, buddy. And Lord knows the bullpen needs you too.
So I think either as a bullpen guy or as a starter, well, obviously I think he's going to be in the bullpen moving forward, but he's that extra piece. And that's the reason that Yano made him the opening day starter against all odds and against all logic, was because he said, this is a guy that has the potential to give our team the momentum and that extra, the extra verve, the extra mojo that we need in order to, show the rest of the league that we belong at the top of the standings. And so I would completely agree with that. We need for Fujinami to be a solid member of the bullpen. And heading into Tuesday's game where he gave up the 4 runs in 0.0 innings pitched, he had gone at least 5 straight without giving up a single run. And actually in those 5 innings pitched, 5 mounds, he had 8 strikeouts to only 2 walks, which is quite outstanding for him. So if he can play that game, and I don't expect zeros from him the whole rest of the year, Iwazaki, but certainly we do need him to step up his game, and that would be outstanding. I am going to actually go to the bullpen as well, just like you did. And for me, it's a tie. And again, it might kind of be the low-hanging fruit. We might be just kind of picking on these guys because they haven't met expectations, but Suguru Iwazaki has been just completely all too hittable in the past month and a half or 2 months. You look at his June ERA of 6, his July ERA of 6, and even his May ERA of 4.5. And that's not what we've come to expect out of him. Obviously, his April of 0.84 might not be something he can reach again, but certainly somewhere in between those, where if his ERA is around 2, he's a whole lot better, a lot more useful than he has been in the past 2.5 months, say. And then the other guy I'm going to pick on is our captain, pitching captain down on the farm, Yuta Iwasada, who, this is a guy that used to be a starter, and he was, at least at some point in his career, a good starter, a very serviceable starter. Came into this year, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is his first season where he started in the bullpen, and he said, I've got nothing on my mind other than being a good member of the bullpen. And he hasn't been a good member of the bullpen. So despite what the numbers will say, and the numbers do say that in July and June and July, in 5 2/3 innings, he's allowed 0 earned runs. Again, he's been hit around and he's allowed inherited runners to score. And his ERA on the whole this year is atrocious. So he needs to step things up as well. Those are the guys that we expected to anchor the bullpen, and we kind of had confidence in them to do a good job there. They were supposed to afford us the ability to put Shin-chan in the rotation because we'd have such a solid back end that could clean up even if Shintaro only went 6 innings. Now, there's other guys that are going to be key as well. I think Kobayashi coming back from injury is huge as well, because he was good in the bullpen. And then also, if we get that one extra piece in the rotation, and I'm talking about Haruto Takahashi, that's going to make us that much more lethal right from the top of games. night in and night out. We're going to have a crazy killer rotation if he comes back, but I'm not banking on him. So I would say that we're in the right place, calling out on the bullpen guys to step up for the second half. So I'm putting you on the spot here, man. And I know what your answer is, but I want you to say it on record so that we can look back at this in October and laugh or cry. Is Hanshin winning the pennant in 2021, Sanjay?
You bet your big okole we are going to be victorious.
I'm going to say the same thing. We are going to win the pennant, and it is going to be absolutely outstanding. Look forward to that, Hanshin Tigers fans. Last question for you, Japan series. Who are we going to face? I know this is a completely random, guess whoever you want. And are we going to win the Japan series as well? Sanjay.
I'm going to go with a little bit of wishful thinking in here. I would love to see us beat the Rakuten Eagles in the Japan series, and then I will actually be at one of the games, I hope. Fingers crossed. Come on, come through, man.
Awesome. Well, the Rakuten Eagles definitely have a chance with them sitting, I believe, currently in second place. I am going to I'm doing wishful thinking as well. It's going to be an all Kansai Japan series with the Oryx Buffaloes pushing through and bringing all of their talents to Koshien when they do come in for the Japan series. And I'm going to say that for a change of pace, even though they have done quite well against us in interleague, historically speaking, we are going to take it to them. We are going to beat them, and we will be champions of the world of Japan. So everybody, thank you for joining us for this post-show show. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for joining as well.
Thanks for having me as always.
Enjoy the Olympic Games, everyone. Enjoy the break. There's exhibition games to watch. We are not going to report on them, but we will have the scores up on H10. So go ahead, and I know this is cheesy typical, subscribe to this channel. We're going to be doing these videos consistently through the rest of the season. Let's go Tigers!
Let's go Hanshin Tigers!